Hi everyone, and welcome to the first part of our new project. In this project, we're going to be creating assets for a TV or print commercial. And in this case, we're going to be focusing on food packaging and primarily on drink packaging in this case. With this project, basically what you'll be doing is creating either an aluminium drink can or a PVC plastic drink bottle. And I've got some examples here on the screen, as you can see. Now, it's completely up to you which you want to do. For those of you who want to challenge yourselves a little bit more, you can potentially attempt both if you find you have the time and the inclination. That's perfectly fine. But essentially, what we'll be doing is covering the processes for creating both of these types of objects. During the course of this project, we'll be looking at creating models from curves and NURB surfaces, which we'll go into in the next couple of videos. We will be looking at how to convert those types of surfaces to basic polygon geometry, and we'll be doing a little bit of polygon modeling as well. We'll also be taking a look at basic UV mapping principles, and we'll be creating several texture maps in Photoshop, primarily color maps or diffuse maps, and bump maps as well. And we're going to be using these bump maps in particular. On the bottle, we'll be using them to create these sort of indented grooves, which you can see running down this Coca-Cola bottle here. And on the aluminium cans, we'll be using the bump maps to create the embossed detail found on the top of the can. We'll also be looking at some basic lighting and rendering techniques as well. So we're doing a little bit of almost everything in this project. So by the end of it, you should have an image sort of similar to this. This was a render done by a previous student of mine by the name of Rob Ban. And he sort of went to town on this assignment, and as you can see here, he's done 10 different can labels in this case. So while you're doing your modeling over the first few videos, have a think about the kind of label you want to put on your can or on your bottle. It can be something that's pre-existing if you like, or it could be something sort of completely ridiculous. In this case, Rob's done, for example, he's done these Fruit Loops in a can, for example, and 4 and 20 meat pies as well in a can. Even a dog food one down the back here. So you can be as creative as you want with your can label, or you can kind of just stick to something that's sort of pre-existing and relatively generic. Either way is fine. You still got to get as much out of the assignment. Anyway, you'll still be covering all the same techniques. So, with that said, let's do a little bit of preparation before we start the actual modeling process. I've got some pre-existing files, some supplied files, and we'll need to set up a project folder. So what I'm going to do is jump across to Maya, and we'll set up a project folder, and then what we'll do is have a look at some pre-existing supplied files that I'm going to give to you guys. So here we are in Maya, and the first thing that I need to do before I start this project is I need to create a folder, a project folder that's going to store all the files that I'm going to be working with. Now for this project, potentially we might be looking at about 5 or 6 different files that we'll be using for the one object. So we need to make sure that we keep those organized. So to do that, we're going to create a project folder. So we'll go across to the File menu first of all, up in the top left corner, and we'll come down to the Project window just here. And what we'll need to do is next to current project, we will need to click the new button just here. And what you'll want to do is over the words new project, you'll want to type in either TVC can, or if you're going to do a bottle, just type in TVC bottle, like this. So you can do one or the other. It's perfectly fine to do either. The next thing you'll want to do is browse to a location where you want this folder to be created. Now I would suggest that you use either a folder on an external hard drive where you're keeping your schoolwork, or you can use your 3D subject folder that you may have or you should have created on the student work directory on the computers in the school studio. Whichever location you want to store that work is perfectly fine, but keep in mind you should always keep a backup you take home with you just in case the school computers go in for maintenance or something like that. So once you've decided on a location, you can use the folder button to navigate through to the position that you want to create that folder. For me, I would just create it on my desktop for now. Obviously, you guys put it onto student work or onto your external hard drives. When you're in the location you want the folder to be created, just press the select folder button. I already have one that's made up, so I'm not actually going to make this folder right now. Once you have those two settings punched in, all you need to do is press the accept button, and the software will create that project folder with all these subfolders inside it in the location that you've specified just here. Okay, so you just need to press the accept button. Okay. Now I've already got one, so I'm not going to create a new one, but I'm going to now show you a couple of files that I'll be supplying to you guys. So let's have a quick look. I'll just turn these off, and I'll just move this out of the way. I can turn that one off as well. Okay, so the files that I'm going to supply to you guys are a CAN profile 001 file and a CAN ring pull base file, and these are the files that you need if you're going to do an aluminium drink can. Okay, if you're going to be doing a plastic bottle, you will need the bottle profile 1 my binary file, which you can see here. Now for the time being you can ignore these icons on these files. Just to kind of give you guys a bit of a note, we're kind of transitioning, or Autodesk is transitioning to its new version of Maya, which is Maya 2014, and they've changed the icon for the software drastically. The previous versions of the software, so Maya 2013 and anything before that, generally has a little black rectangular icon with a little white dragon in it. With 2014, as you can see here, they've gone for this sort of greeny turquoise icon with like a little geometric sort of M visible on it. Okay, they're the same file types, it's just a new icon. Okay, now the reason this icon's showing up on my computer and not yours is that I've got the trial version of Maya 2014 because I've been testing that over the last week or so. So it's just changed the default icon on my desktop. So there's no need to worry about the difference. You guys will probably see the regular Maya icon, which is that little black rectangle with the dragon in it. Okay, so let's take a look first of all at what these files actually are. Okay, so each of these files has been created from a path shape that I've drawn in Illustrator. So this is Adobe Illustrator here. Now you're not going to have to do any of this, but I just want to show you sort of the initial starting point that I've used for creating those files. So the first one is the bottle profile. Okay, so basically if you took a plastic drink bottle and you sliced it down the middle, and then you sliced what you had left in half, so you basically had a quarter of a drink bottle, you would end up, if you looked at the edge of where you've cut, where you've sliced it sort of down through the top, right down through the middle, you would end up with this shape, or something kind of similar to this. Okay, now the bottom's a little bit different. What I've done here is I've actually flattened the bottom of the bottle off. Normally it would kind of come down and then you'd have sort of those bumps on the bottom of the bottle. What I've done is flatten this off. And the reason for doing that is it's actually going to be easier to create the bottom of the bottle in our 3D software from a flat base like this, rather than trying to create those bumps. All right. So basically we've got this curve file. Now what I've done is imported this curve file into Maya, and it draws out as an actual curve. Okay, so this is essentially a path. Okay, an Illustrator path. This Maya software will read the vector information on this path and turn it into a curve. And I will show you those. You'll see those files in Maya soon. Okay. So basically what I've done is I've kind of converted this to a Maya file, and that's the Maya file that I'm going to give you guys. For the can, there are two files. One is for the ring pull that goes on the top of the can. So we'll actually be constructing a ring pull, creating a model ring pull out of this file. And then there's a profile for the can, which is basically the can version of this file here that I've done for the bottle. All right. So this is basically an aluminium can that's been sliced down the middle and sort of then kind of halved again. Okay, so this is sort of the profile of that can shape. Okay, so what we need to do is place the converted Maya files of these shapes into our project folder. So on your in the location that you created your project folder, you'll have a project folder like this. Now it'll either be called TVC can, or it'll be called TVC bottle, depending on which one you chose to create. Okay. Now TVC is television commercial. All right. So we're creating an asset for something that it could be used as a TV commercial asset, or for a some print media, like a billboard, or maybe some brochures or something, or a catalog. Okay, so what we need to do is put these files into this folder system, but there's a specific spot we have to put them so that the Maya software can find them. So I'm going to open this folder up. Okay, so this is what we get. Okay, so inside the project folder, TVC can in my case, or bottle, depending on what you're doing, you'll have all of these folders. Now these files, because they're Maya binary files, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them in the scenes folder. So I can just select them all and drag them into scenes, just here, like that. So if I take a quick look in there, you'll see that I now have bottle profile, and can ring pull base. Now, generally speaking, because of the process we're going to use to bring these into Maya, the actual folder that they would normally go in would be the data folder. Usually if you're going to import something into Maya, you would put it into this data folder. What I'm doing is keeping it in the scenes folder, only because they're Maya binary files already, and this is the folder where your objects would normally save, and by default they would save as Maya binaries. So basically all your model files will be in here, okay, along with these originals. And once again, I'm going to give you a copy of these files. Okay, so you'll basically be starting off with the exact same files that I am in these videos. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to leave this video here, and in the next video we're going to basically start construction on either our bottle or our can, depending on which one you choose. So I will see you all in the next videos.